Here's our farm when we first moved in. According to the estate agent's details, it just needed a few fine finishings. So here's a quick video to show you everything that we've changed over the last 2.5 years, most of the work of which we've done ourselves. So we've had quite a busy 2 years. This is what the front of the house previously looked like. We've had the chimneys repaired, we've done the outside of the render and painted everything, and we've tried to give the barns a bit of a facelift. And here's what it looks like now. Here's a throwback to what the interior was like. And here's our front room now. As you can see, it actually looks slightly worse. Most of the work that we've done, we've focused on outdoor stuff, so the barns have been renovated a lot more than the house, because we care about them more. So this is one of the originally derelict parts of the house. What we're actually doing is we're going to turn it into 2 apartments so that people attending courses can come and stay, and they're going to have their own little kitchen and bathroom and everything. As you can see here, we're surrounded by black plastic, and that's because we've just had the interior of it sandblasted so that it didn't look quite so mouldy. And we're going to have all the special damp proofing and everything put in. But we actually realised when we had it sandblasted that the guy could shoot sand through the wall of the house upstairs. We had been wondering why it'd been cold for the last couple of years, but it turns out that there was actually just some insulation wedged between the old part of the house, which basically has no insulation at all, no door, nothing, and the part we've been living in. So that explains why we've been quite chilly. It also filled the house with sand, which set off the fire alarms for about 10 hours because you can't unplug them because they're electric. It's great. And here's the upstairs of the derelict part of the house 2 years ago.
Be careful, Pete. I did shuffle across it the other day.
Guys, hey.
This is our friends Cheryl and Pete, who we showed round after we first moved in. We've actually dragged Pete in to work for us, and he's helping us develop the farm. So this is now the view from our upstairs hallway door. Obviously, the upstairs downstairs room maintains its correct name. Hopefully, sometime before Christmas, although that's probably really optimistic, this will be 2 apartments, which would be really cool. Probably shouldn't stand this close to the edge. Makes me feel a bit weird. Anyway. So here is the insulation only wall.
So there's a massive black and grey hole there with, as you can see,
wind coming through it. So we're going to have to sort that out as soon as possible. We're only 2.5 years in at this point. I'm sure we'll do it any minute now. Here's another throwback to the first piece of furniture we invested in. Obviously a sensible choice.
No, we bought that. It's the only piece of furniture that we've bought is a fish tank. And we can't afford fish for it now, so it's empty. The saga continues. We have actually had fish in here. We now also have several other fish tanks. We've been having a bit of a go at doing aquascaping, so growing interior plants in aquariums. It's probably not going to look very good on a video, but it does look very nice in person. We even have a tank here with turtles in it, which is very cool. One of them bit Arthur the other day. Turns out they're not really for petting. They're basically just really angry pet rocks. So as you can see, we've not done a huge amount to the house yet, but that is next on our agenda. So next, I'm going to take you back outside to where we've done a lot more work and developed things a lot more, because obviously this is where we are running our business and where our clients come and work with us. So here's a throwback to a minor issue we had with a stone barn.
For now, we're going to leave it we don't have the money for it, but what we're doing is we will convert this for people that are coming on the training course.
Cool on the inside, it's massive.
The L-shaped barn needed quite a lot of work. There was a massive amount of the corner missing out of it, and we were really worried that was actually going to fall off on somebody. So we had that done as one of the first things that we did when we came to the farm. And since then we've also done a load of work putting doors on it to try and make it weatherproof, and also painting it with lime wash. But we have not got as far as converting it, unsurprisingly, so it is actually a bigger mess on the inside now than it was before. You might also remember our cart shed, which had a massive crack just above the doorway.
So this is the old cart shed. This is where all the old wagons and carriages would have been stored in days gone by. But now we're thinking that we're going to customise it and turn it into a shop, because we're planning to produce a huge amount of vegetables and soft fruit, if you've watched the rest of the video.
It's not quite a shop yet, but we've made some big improvements. So we discovered in the winter that water actually ran straight through this barn, which deposited this lovely mud all over the floor. But here's what it looks like now.
So as you can see, when we'd sorted out the drainage of the cart shed and cleaned all the floor, there's actually beautiful cobbles under here, which will be really, really nice when we eventually get to make it into a shop. That is still our plan. We're hoping to make it into a harness and produce shop. Might just take us a little bit longer than we thought.
The other end of this stone barn was also quite dilapidated. It had a number of old tie stalls in it and a really mouldy loft space where the floor was a little bit too dodgy to stand on, but we did anyway, very briefly. So there were already tie stalls under this loft space that would have been used for the farm's working horses in the past, and we really wanted to keep that going, so we made new tie stalls as well.
This is where they'd have tie stalls with their working horses.
Oh, right.
So it's like the original, but...
They're quite small, aren't they?
Yeah, normally tie stalls wouldn't be wider than 6 foot.
No, I suppose not.
But a horse can still lie down in that space, which is quite surprising.
I suppose they didn't get up. That would be...
Yeah.
So as you can see, the mystery loft has now become a window, and that is because we have reinstated in here some brand spanking new tie stalls. And Roger's in here just having his lunch. So we wanted to keep this kind of to the original design. We actually made them with ash that we pulled off the farm with the horses. As you can see, it's much nicer, and we've got rid of the loft, which means it's a really big airy space for the horses to be in. But they don't live in here. This is just where they come in for lunch and bits and pieces. The next bit of the big barn. So this they've just used as a chicken shed, I'm going to say.
So this area we decided to turn into a stable for our brood mares. We had to take out another loft and lay a new concrete floor and build the stable walls.
And this is the new improved other part of the shed. So we made these doors into half doors to keep the barn really airy. We took out all of the old rank chicken shed thing. We've made this into a sort of goat pen at the minute. It's just storing general stuff. And this area we don't really know what to do with yet. This is the area above the shop. So the barn is on quite a funny level. Oscar is living in here at the moment. As you can see, he's quite happy with his nice big airy stable. Isn't it, bud? He's a good boy.
And this yard is where we've done the most work of all. So this was the start of the modern buildings when we first moved in. Some of these were our tools, and some of them were tools that the neighbour had just left in our barn.
thinking of keeping this as hay storage and also for the stallions because they've got obviously concrete yards out there for the winter.
Yeah.
And here's a view of that barn from the outside and from the same perspective now. So what we actually ended up doing was transforming this space into a really nice big airy stable block. We laid a concrete floor, took out all the external walls so there's lots of fresh air coming through and it doesn't make them get ill. And the reason for this is we've had so much demand for the breaking and training that we really need somewhere where we could keep everyone else's horses safe. But it's become a really, really useful space now. And this was the big yard before when we first moved in. As you can see, it's lots of bent and broken tin, lots of really enclosed spaces, lots of mud floors, and all of that needed to change for us to be able to keep our horses here. We also had a big problem with this massive concrete yard being incredibly slippery and a huge slurry pit. One of the first ports of call was to make this area into a proper harness room.
And then because it's got the nice rendered sides already, we'll finish the back of it off, rip the floor out, block up to there, and that will be the harness room.
This was not a very pleasant sort of little cow shed before. It's now got a proper concrete floor. It's got lights even, and new tin. And this area that we were going to make into our harness room, I'll take you into now. So we've got all of our heaps of harness in here. We've even got lights. How amazing is that?
The big barn was where the neighbour was originally keeping his cows, and that was very much ripe for improvement.
So we're going to take all that out and then put internal stables in here for the horses.
Getting rid of all that. That's a
Yeah,
big job just before you even
like
start.
And here's what the inside of that barn looks like now, especially with its lovely cut concrete floor to stop the horses from slipping.
And this large shed that we originally thought we'd put stables into, we're actually now using for open housing for our horses in the winter, and it's also where we've got our round pen for training. It turns out it does catch the wind a lot up here, so having an indoor round pen has been absolutely invaluable because otherwise we just get blown away.
And here's a view of the dairy when we first moved in. We haven't actually done much to this area.
Walk on the floorboards up here. Right, okay. The door on the floor. A bit spongy.
And here it is now.
So this is the old dairy building, and contrary to our own advice, you can see here we might actually fell through the floor coming up here the other day. So our plan for this building is actually that we are going to knock it down, and because it's made of asbestos and brick and there's 3 different levels inside, so it's not very useful for us. We can't put any livestock in it. So we're going to knock it down and we're going to put up a steel foam barn here instead, which will hopefully be much more useful. Yeah, I'm not going to go in there because I'm not a muppet.
So we've also done quite a bit to the grounds. We've done a lot of fencing. We have put in an orchard and a large fruit garden, which you may have seen in our previous videos. So today we're playing a game of Boring Garden Be Gone. And I also just wanted to show you the difference in the horses from now and when we first moved in.
It's 5 stallions at the moment. Reg, Strider, okay. This is Onyx. Hello. Hades is here. He's half molting, as you can see. Looks a bit weird. And Oscar over there is king of the mountain.
And here are our colts now, babies no more. As you can see, in 2.5 years, they've all matured into an absolute load of tanks.